Okay, yesterday we started the Gewaldige Inyan of Kibbud Av V'em. Let's continue now. Yesterday we went through the milas, beautiful milas, of the mitzvah that every one of you, Baruch Hashem, have the Gewaldige Schus to be able to be Mekayim. And as I said, by the way, even if you're not going home, you can still be Mekayim. It doesn't make a difference where you are in the world. But of course, if you're actually situated in your home with your parents, that is a beautiful and amazing opportunity, which I want to say. Now, let's begin, Rabbi Sai, with the Gewaldige Chai Adam. The Chai Adam says like this, Merdika Chai Adam. He says that any person that says, I owe nothing to my parents, they wanted children, they wanted to have kids, they wanted a new stroller to walk around, the Duna, whatever it is. The minute they needed to have kids in order to, to show off, they wanted to have kids to have a family, whatever. They didn't really want to give, they wanted to have kids. And it's part of their instinct. Why should I have a Hakoros HaTov to my parents? Why should I have gratitude to my parents, Hakoros HaTov, if they Lemaisa was part of what, I don't know, it's a natural intuition of a parent is to have children. It's not like they wanted to have children to give. Ooh, I want to give, let's have children. No, you get married, you naturally have children. So why should I have Hakoros HaTov? Zuk the Heilige Chai Adam, that person will eventually say, I should have Hakoros HaTov to the Rebbeinu Shalom. I should thank Hashem. I should be appreciative for what Hashem gave me. Kosh Baruch Hu wants to create me. I should have an Hakoros HaTov to him. So the Chai Adam, something that we explained yesterday, very important. I'm not sure if he said this as explicitly now, and if it did, then it's Chazor, and if it didn't say, then listen to it now. The Chinuch writes in Hilchos Kibbud Av V'em, on the mitzvah Kibbud Av V'em, that the mitzvah Kibbud Av V'em is a derech, it's a vehicle to get to Kibbud of the Rebbeinu Shalom. Therefore, the Chai Adam is telling us that if a person basically rejects the kindness and the chesed that he got from his parents, will eventually reject all the chesed that the Rebbeinu Shalom does for him. There's a Mordecai Zohar, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, Parshas Yisroi. The Zohar says that a person should honor his parents in the same way, so the Zohar, that he honors the Rebbeinu Shalom. Why? Because the Gemara tells us in Tainis, we all know, there are three partners in making every person, three shutfim. There's a mother, a father, and the Rebbeinu Shalom. So just like you respect your parents of the Zohar, you also have to respect the Rebbeinu Shalom for that way. That's an amazing, amazing thing, right? If we would know, let's say it would be possible, let's say, Kaviyachol, to serve Hashem. Let's say you'd be able to serve Hashem. Hashem would, Kaviyachol, be able to come down, and you could serve the Rebbeinu Shalom. Can you imagine what you would pay, what you would do, in order to be able to serve the Rebbeinu Shalom personally? Amazing. So Chazal, the Rebbeinu Shalom takes it that when you serve your parents, when you machabed your parents, when you honor your parents, it is as if you have honored him. And that is an amazing, amazing thing. The Gemara tells us as well that if you want to bring muzzle into your home or make your house into a mokim kodesh like a Beis Hamikdash, it's through the children. Okay? So we're dealing with something which has the most amazing ramifications. The Torah says, one of the only times we found, there's another time Shloch HaKen, but the only other time that we find that we have an explicit reward for the mitzvah written in the Torah, as Nochi said, long life. What is the connection between serving your parents, being mechabed, honoring your parents, and living a long life? There's always midah keneged midah, right? The reward we get is generally, right, in connection, in reflection to what we did. What is the connection between having a long life and serving your parents? So you could say, what?
They were the ones that gave you life and you're being thankful.
Oh, very nice. Shlomo, very beautiful. That's very nice. They gave you life, and therefore you are reciprocating by being mechabed them, and therefore you will get life. That's very, very nice. That's very, very nice. I like that. Shkoyach. There is another pshat. No, it's beautiful. There's another pshat which I saw from Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld. There's a Gemara, actually, today's Daf Yomi, by the way, Kufay, is saying the same thing. Zuk Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, when you machabed your parents, it takes time, right? It takes time. You have to go out and do errands for them, messages for them. You sometimes have to go out of your way and do things for them. You're taking your own personal time. So Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, a person should never think that being machabed his parents is taking away time from his life. oh, I really have to do this now, but they asked me something, I have no choice because I heard that shir in yeshiva, so like I have to go do it now, right? Especially when, by the way, your parents are also listening to the shurim, and they're very excited about the fact that I'm giving you Kibbud Av V'em shurim, because they're like, yes! When he gets home, he's going to give me covered. It's going to be gavaldik, right? I'm waiting for the emails to come in from the parents, like, this is gavaldik. Thank you so much for teaching my son that, right? And then I get the emails, Ben Azan, could you give it a chazaras hashir? Or chas v'shalom. But like upon him, it takes time. No, be'emes. When you want to mechabed your parent, by the way, it's not an easy mitzvah. It's really not an easy mitzvah. Especially as, and I know I get this, I get asked this question very often, like, what do you do? I got an email recently from someone, just as an example, from someone that learned over here in Eretz Yisrael, not in the yeshiva, different place, whatever, and they're going back, and they want to know what to do when their parents do something wrong. Now, it could happen. For example, let's take the classic one, right? You guys, Baruch Hashem, know that obviously to use baby wipes on Shabbos is on the right, so you get chav skida for that, right? So what could happen when you go home, chas v'shalom, not any of your parents, I don't mean any of your parents, but it could be that over years I've had talmidim that had parents, chas v'shalom, lo aleinu, lo aleichem, we should never know, that use baby wipes. Now the son comes home, and after the first Shabbos, they see it, they see it, like all of a sudden, their parents pull out the bimbos, they're like, oh, I didn't know my parents were machal Shabbos. What do I do now? How are you meant to go and tell of your parents? And what do? Skila! Let's take it to the second one. No, you can get in big trouble. You've got to be very careful how to do it. You've got to be very careful to do it in a respectful way, to go over to your parents and say, listen, I understand that maybe when you went to yeshiva, you weren't zoicha to go to a yeshiva where they deal with halacha and they have, but lemaisa I was, and you sent me there, and you paid tuition. So lemaisa, here I am, and these are the results, and you better be careful. Blame it on me. It's okay, I'll take the blame. I don't mind. No, I'll get the emails from the parents. How could you tell my son? I've been doing this for years.
Well, just not taking their kids out.
Yeah. It's okay, we have enough.
You give them your wife, the one you're making.
Huh? Oh, the Shabbos one. Somebody sent me an email, by the way, this week. A lot of emails came in this week. But somebody sent me an email saying he wants to give me the first £10,000, £10,000 towards my Shabbos baby wipes, which which he knows I'm working on.
There's already a ton of
No, it doesn't exist. That's very cute. It doesn't exist until I make one. Okay? No, there is no kosher. Sorry. You're not bursting. You're not. No. You show me a bedatz edis chavedis hersha, and I will give you $1,000.
Yeah? Show you.
Okay.
Wait, you said 10K investment or
No.
10K just because?
I've been spending a long time at the factories, by the way. I had to go up north and be busy with these things. But I stopped anyway because I had to look after you guys. But it's worth it. It's worth it. It's well worth it. It's worth it. Anyway, Rabbi Say, let's move on. This is not a baby wipe share. We've given it already in yeshiva. I'm not doing now. Every share is a baby wipe share. Anyway, let's move on. Rabbi Say, let's go. So Rabbi Zonnevold is saying that the mitzvah requires time. And just like time takes away from what you may want to do, you get avichas yomim. Why? Because you get paid back. Chazal tell us, by the way, there's a Gemara Mufurish in Yevomis, Daf Kuf Hey, tells us that when you do chesed, you get the time back. You get extra long life, because doing chesed never takes away from your own personal time that you sent down into this world. Now, yesterday, and just now, we went through a couple of milas, beautiful milas of Kibbud Av V'em. I would like to give you now, on the other side of the coin, which is not so geschmack, but I'll give it to you anyway. And that is, on the other side of the coin, if you're not machabed your parents, and if you're mezalzel in Kibbud Av V'em, and you don't do what you're supposed to do, which again, Ha'mit Hashem, we're going to get to some of the halachas of what you are or are not meant to do in certain situations. The oynish, the punishment for someone that's over on it, is a terrible punishment. There's a Sefer Charedim, a mitzvah say Pei Aleph, where he brings down the oynish of someone that's over. Rachmana litzlan caused tremendous, terrible gzeiros to come on him. It causes, Rashi, by the way, brings, this is Mefurish Rashi, by the way, brings a mechilta in Shemois Chof Yud Beis that says if a person not machabed his parents, it causes his life to be decreased. Just like you get avichas yomim, a long life, if you have Kibbud Av V'em, Rachmana litzlan aleinu, a person could decrease his time on this world as well. And the Sefer Chasidim brings a Simon Shin Mem Beis that the oynish is godel le'olam haba. So we're dealing with something which is terrible, and not only that, there's a riff and the rosh in the 8th perek in Mesechtas Yuma that say it's one of the things that are ma'akev es hatshuva. Now, by the way, that's very dangerous, because I'll tell you, any avera you do be'etzem, you could do tshuva, and if you do tshuva, You get a full kapara for if you do tshuva out of Av, the Gemara says in Rosh Hashanah, those averos turn into gavaldik mitzvahs, whatever. So the Rambam brings us, and this is not a Rambam, this is the Rif and the Rosh, but come on, there's a Rambam in Hilchos Tshuva that says there are certain things that are ma'akev es tshuva, right? Meaning they prevent a person from doing tshuva, right? One of the reasons sometimes is because you don't realize what you did wrong, and therefore you don't ever get to do tshuva on it. You'll never do tshuva on something you don't think you ever did something wrong on. One of the things we mention it always by Shovavim in the weeks of Shemois, is looking at something osa. Histaklos panoshim. Looking at things you shouldn't be doing, shouldn't be looking at, is one of the things that generally people don't do tshuva on it. Why? Because they don't feel they're doing something wrong. If chas v'shalom a person touches a girl, he knows he did something wrong. He may have already yitzhara, but he knows he did something wrong. Looking at a woman, looking at looking at something that you shouldn't have looked at, okay, maybe, but Maisa wasn't so bad. Nowadays, 2022, what do you want from me, Rabbi? Have a yitzhara, this, that, and the other. Certain times we don't think we do something wrong. And maybe says the Rambam, a person will never do tshuva because we never do something wrong. Zuk the Rosh, Kibbud Av V'em could fall into that category. That a person has to be very, very careful to make sure you're machabed your parents, to make sure you honor your parents, to make sure that you do the right things. Because if you don't, it could cause tremendous tremendous bad, Rahman al-Islam, on a person, on a mishpacha, on a family, on a house, and that's very dangerous. Tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem, we shall continue with the sugya.